Long before pharmacies, modern medicine, or synthetic pills existed, people survived by understanding plants. Certain Native American plants were valued not because they looked impressive, but because they were consistently useful. Some were used for wounds, others for fever, digestion, skin irritation, or seasonal illness support. And many of these plants are still studied and used today in teas, salves, tinctures, and natural wellness practices. But here's the important part. These plants were traditionally used to support healing, not perform instant miracles. Today, we're uncovering 10 Native American plants historically valued for their traditional medicinal uses, how they were commonly used, and why many people still grow them in wellness gardens today. Number 1. Yarrow. Yarrow has been valued for centuries as one of the most versatile traditional medicinal plants in Native American herbal practices. The plant produces clusters of white, yellow, or pink flowers along with fern-like foliage. But its real value historically came from how it was used for wounds and bleeding. What makes yarrow especially important is its long history of external use. Crushed leaves and flowers were traditionally applied to cuts and injuries to help support the body's natural healing response. Because of this reputation, yarrow became closely associated with field medicine and survival remedies. Another advantage is how tough the plant is. Yarrow survived drought, poor soil, and harsh summer conditions while continuing to bloom heavily and attract pollinators. The flowers also attract bees and beneficial insects, making the plant useful both medicinally and environmentally. Today, many herbal gardeners still grow yarrow for teas, salves, and wellness gardens, although it should always be used carefully and researched properly before medicinal use. And that's what makes yarrow powerful. It combines resilience, pollinator value, and one of the longest traditional histories of herbal support among North American plants. Number 2. Willow. Willow trees were traditionally valued because their bark contains salicin, a natural compound chemically related to the ingredient that later inspired aspirin. Native American communities historically used willow preparations to help support relief from pain and fever. What makes willow especially fascinating is how deeply connected it is to modern medicine. Long before pharmaceutical pain relievers existed, people recognized that certain willow species could help support comfort during illness and physical pain. Another advantage is the tree's versatility. Willow grows quickly, adapts well to moist conditions, and creates cooling shade in landscapes, while also holding historical medicinal significance. The bark was traditionally prepared carefully in teas or decoctions, although modern use should always be approached cautiously because natural compounds can still carry risks and side effects. Willow also plays an important ecological role by supporting wildlife and stabilizing wet soils near rivers or ponds. And that's what makes willow powerful. It's not just a tree. It's a living connection between traditional plant knowledge and one of the most influential medicinal discoveries in modern history. Number 3. Purple coneflower. Purple coneflower, also known as Echinacea, has long been associated with traditional herbal wellness practices, particularly for immune system support. Native American groups historically used parts of the plant in preparations connected to seasonal illness and general wellness. What makes purple coneflower especially valuable is its combination of medicinal history and garden beauty. The large purple-pink blooms attract bees and butterflies constantly, turning the plant into one of the most active pollinator perennials in summer gardens. Another advantage is its toughness. Once established, coneflower tolerates drought, heat, and poor soil surprisingly well while returning every year with strong blooms. The raised cone centers also remain visually interesting even after flowering slows, adding texture late into the season. Today, Echinacea products remain popular in herbal wellness markets, though scientific evidence around effectiveness varies, and it should never replace professional medical care. And that's what makes purple coneflower powerful. It blends pollinator value, drought resistance, and one of the most recognized traditional herbal histories among North American plants. Number 4. Wild bergamot. Wild bergamot, also called bee balm, has a long history in Native American herbal traditions where it was commonly prepared in teas for colds, congestion, and respiratory support. The plant produces lavender-purple flowers that attract huge numbers of pollinators throughout summer. What makes wild bergamot especially valuable is its strong aromatic foliage. The leaves release a minty herbal scent that makes the plant useful not only medicinally, but also culturally and ceremonially in some traditions. Another advantage is its toughness. Wild bergamot handles heat and varying soil conditions surprisingly well while spreading steadily and returning every year with larger growth. The flowers are also extremely attractive to bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, turning the plant into a major pollinator magnet in natural gardens. Today, many herbal gardeners still grow wild bergamot for teas and wellness gardens, though it should always be researched carefully before medicinal use. And that's what makes wild bergamot powerful. It combines fragrance, pollinator support, and a deep traditional history connected to respiratory wellness and herbal tea use. Number 5. Elderberry. Elderberry has been valued for generations in traditional herbal practices, especially during cold and flu seasons. Native American groups historically used different parts of the plant in preparations connected to seasonal wellness support. What makes elderberry especially important is its dark purple blackberries, which later became widely recognized in modern herbal products like syrups and teas. The berries are rich in compounds studied for antioxidant properties, though raw berries and other plant parts must be handled carefully, because some parts are toxic when improperly prepared. Another advantage is how productive the shrub that becomes once established. Elderberry grows quickly, produces clusters of fragrant flowers, and later develops heavy berry harvests that also attract birds and wildlife. The plant thrives in moist soil and full to partial sun, making it useful both ornamentally and practically in larger gardens. And that's what makes elderberries powerful. It combines traditional wellness history, wildlife value, and productive berry harvests into one of the most widely recognized medicinal shrubs in North America. Number 6. Slippery elm. Slippery elm has a long history of traditional use for soothing throat and digestive irritation. Native American communities historically use the inner bark because of its mucilage content, which becomes gel-like when mixed with water. What makes slippery elm especially fascinating is how the bark changes texture. When prepared properly, it forms a soothing coating that was traditionally used in teas and preparations connected to throat comfort and digestive support. Another advantage is the tree's environmental value. Slippery elm provides shade, supports wildlife, and contributes to healthy woodland ecosystems while also carrying strong historical herbal significance. The tree itself is hardy and adaptable, although populations have faced challenges from Dutch elm disease in many regions. Today, slippery elm remains popular in herbal wellness products, though sustainable sourcing is increasingly important due to environmental pressures on native elm populations, and that's what makes slippery elm powerful. It represents a traditional plant remedy deeply connected to soothing and protective herbal practices that continue to influence natural wellness traditions today. Number 7. Stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is one of the most nutritionally dense wild plants traditionally used in Native American and herbal wellness practices. While the tiny hairs on the leaves can sting painfully when touched fresh, the plant has a long history connected to food, teas, and wellness support. What makes stinging nettle especially valuable is its nutrient content. The leaves contain minerals and compounds that helped make it useful traditionally for seasonal wellness, joint support, and nutritional teas once properly prepared. Another advantage is how aggressively the plant grows. Nettle thrives in moist, fertile soil and quickly produces large amounts of usable foliage each season. The plant also supports wildlife and pollinators, making it ecologically valuable despite its defensive sting. Proper preparation is extremely important because fresh raw plants can irritate the skin heavily. Cooking or drying removes the stinging effect. And that's what makes stinging nettle powerful. It transforms from a painful wild weed into one of the most historically respected nutritional and herbal plants once people understand how to handle it correctly. Number 8. American witch hazel. American witch hazel has long been valued for external skin support and soothing applications in traditional herbal practices. The shrub produces unusual yellow ribbon-like flowers and naturally contains tannins that became associated with skincare uses. What makes witch hazel especially important is its long-standing connection to external applications. Extracts from the bark and leaves were traditionally used for irritation, inflammation, and minor skin discomfort. Another advantage is the shrub's ornamental value. Witch hazel blooms during cooler seasons when many other plants are dormant, adding unexpected color to woodland gardens and shaded landscapes. The plant also adapts well to naturalized settings and woodland environments, making it useful both medicinally and decoratively. Today, witch hazel extracts remain widely used in skincare products, although commercial preparations vary significantly. And that's what makes American witch hazel powerful. It combines ornamental beauty with one of the most enduring traditional herbal reputations for external skin support and soothing plant-based care. Number 9. Oregon grape. Oregon grape is a tough evergreen shrub traditionally valued for its roots and bark and herbal practices connected to skin and digestive wellness. The plant produces holly-like leaves, bright yellow flowers, and dark blue berries that make it visually striking year-round. What makes Oregon grape especially valuable is the compound berberine found in the plant, which later became widely studied in herbal medicine research. Historically, preparations from the roots were associated with traditional wellness uses, particularly involving digestion and skin support. Another advantage is the shrub's toughness. Oregon grape tolerates shade, poor soil, and difficult growing conditions while continuing to provide strong foliage texture and seasonal interest. The berries also support wildlife, while the flowers attract pollinators early in the season. Today, Oregon grape remains popular in native landscaping and herbal gardens, although proper identification and responsible use remain important. And that's what makes Oregon grape powerful. It combines medicinal history, evergreen beauty, and exceptional resilience into one of the most respected traditional medicinal shrubs native to North America. Number 10. Prickly Pear. Prickly pear is one of the most recognizable desert plants in North America, traditionally valued for both food and wellness uses. Native American communities historically used the pads and fruit in ways connected to hydration, wound care, and nutritional support. What makes prickly pear especially valuable is its ability to store water inside the thick pads, allowing the plant to survive intense desert heat and drought conditions where few other plants can grow. That same moisture-rich structure made it useful traditionally in hot climates. The bright fruits are also edible when prepared correctly and contain nutrients and antioxidants that later gained attention in modern wellness markets. Another advantage is how resilient the plant becomes once established. It requires minimal water, thrives in harsh sun, and survives in rocky poor soil with almost no maintenance. The cactus also produces colorful flowers that attract pollinators despite growing in extreme environments. And that's what makes prickly pear powerful. It combines survival, nutrition, drought resistance, and a long history of traditional practical use into one of the most iconic medicinal desert plants in North America. Traditional use does not automatically mean a plant is safe for everyone. Many medicinal plants can interact with medications, cause allergic reactions, or become harmful if prepared incorrectly. Historical and cultural uses should be respected as traditional knowledge, not treated as guaranteed medical treatment. Always research carefully and consult qualified healthcare professionals before using any plant medicinally. For thousands of years, people survived by understanding plants deeply, not just how they looked, but how they could support food, healing, survival, and daily life. These Native American plants represent generations of observation and traditional knowledge passed down over time. Some became connected to modern medicine, while others remain important in herbal and wellness gardens today. But beyond their medicinal history, many of these plants are also beautiful, resilient, and valuable for pollinators and native ecosystems. Drop a comment below and tell me which plant surprised you the most. And if you want more videos exploring medicinal plants, survival gardening, and forgotten botanical knowledge, make sure you subscribe because this is just the beginning.